Hey everyone, welcome back. We're here once again with some more Pokemon Go action. Today I wanted to showcase the newly released Galarian Corsola in the Go Battle League. This is one of the best Pokemon that they've released recently. It's a Ghost type, a Mono Ghost type, using Astonish, Nightshade, and Power Gem. Three very strong moves as of this season, and I'm going to pair it with Primeape and Diggersby. A very strong team, and honestly, this Pokemon looks like a lot of fun, although it is very hard to get. I made a video on it if you want to watch it, just about how it's going to be in the meta, what stats you want to look for, and also why it's so problematic that a Pokemon that's this strong is this hard to get. I also stream my battles basically every day at twitch.tv/ItsAXN, so if you want to see this kind of gameplay live, please make sure to check me out there. I start 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. I'd love to see you there, but let's get into the battles and see what Galarian Corsola can do. Alright, hopping right on into game. Number 1 Corsola up against a Dragapult in the lead. A lot of fast move pressure is going to go back and forth this matchup. We are both using Astonish, both Ghost types, so super effective damage. But since we are so bulky here, we actually take a lot less damage than they're taking. Since they are staying in here, I'm going to shield this up. I'm going to try to keep our Corsola around later on this game, and we're going to see them safe swap instantly into a Dugong. This matchup is very good for Primeape, but we are down shields and down energy, so it could be a little bit uncomfortable. I still get to this Rage Fist first, though. Our opponent does not yet throw the Icy Wind. This Rage Fist does actually draw a shield, and we can bait yet another close combat here. I'm going to go for another Rage Fist bait because I know it's going to do a lot of damage. I don't want to debuff my defense just yet, and we also draw a shield. Both shields have been taken with our Primeape against this Dugong. We probably will get knocked out by this move or put close into fast move farm down range. Yeah, it's going to be one more Ice Shard. Barely don't get that Rage Fist off, but we have energy with our Corsola. We can go for the Power Gem here, guarantee the knockout against this Dugong, so we have shield advantage, and we're not all that concerned about that Dragapult still later on as well. What is their final Pokemon going to be this game? In comes their final pick. It's going to be an Azumarill here, which is a Pokemon our Diggersby does not want to see. But Corsola, you can see just how little damage these bubbles are doing to us. We are so bulky, and our moves are so incredibly efficient. Astonish and Nightshade already putting this Azumarill down to half health. We're not even close to range where an Ice Beam would knock us out yet. They throw on CMP here. Nightshade once again is going to be reached. This is going to put this Azumarill down deep into the red. Corsola at half health, taking Azumarill all the way down into the red, putting it into a range where Diggersby can easily deal with it. Play Rough does, in fact, knock us out here. We can come in Diggersby, though. Just build up enough energy to throw moves against both that Dragapult and this Azumarill. Our opponent seems to realize the game is over. They've stopped tapping. We go for the quick attack down, and we have energy for this Dragapult once it comes back in. This move will knock them out, and now just a great showcase of how bulky and still how offensive this Galarian Corsola is, even against that Azumarill, a very bulky Pokemon, extremely strong matchup. Another bulky Pokemon here, another Pokemon that has a lot of fast move pressure, Gastrodon. It's kind of notorious for just two-shielding through teams a lot of the times if you don't have a hard answer. Our team does not have a single ground resist, but you're about to see just how strong Corsola is in this matchup. We land the Nightshade. Look at how much damage that does. We are taking nothing from these Mud Slaps. I can shield this up, and I think I can go for the full fast move down against this Mud Slap user. Mud Slap, or Earth Power rather, is thrown. Since they are so slow to get into these charge moves, they die with the move here. Corsola farms them all the way down, and in comes a Dugong. That is not a pick that can respond to a Galarian Corsola. We are running Power Gem here. It's going to be able to either draw a shield or do a massive amount of damage. They actually end up shielding that attack. We have yet another one, though. We win CMP. Are they going to want to double shield their Dugong already this game? Let's see what they're going to do. Power Gem ends up landing, doing over half of this Dugong's health, and our opponent, oh bless, they realize at that point, Corsola has just done so much work. This Pokemon is crazy. We just saw a Dugong a second ago. We see now one in the lead here. Corsola is going to do its best to win this matchup. They can go for the debuffs, but we have Power Gem. It's going to do a lot of damage, as we saw in that last game. This is going to either draw a shield or do a massive amount of damage to make it a lot easier for our Diggersby to deal with later on. They do end up going for the shield on that first one, which is not super surprising, but I guess I didn't go for the Nightshade bait. That would have been nice if we did, because then we would have paced evenly to these moves. I could have got the next move off before them. They actually end up over-farming here, though. They catch on a Primeape. That is a fantastic catch by them. A Power Gem's going to do almost nothing when I'm debuffed, but we can come in with our own Primeape here. We are up shields, and we also know that that Dugong is going to be able to come back in if they want to against our Primeape, but if we have energy, it's not going to be that scary. We go for the bait with this Rage Fist here. This is not going to knock them out quite yet, I don't believe. If it does, it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be so close there, but we still get the Karate Chop down. If that Dugong comes back in, we can try our best to take it out with our Primeape in the back. Oh, it's going to be that Dugong actually that comes back in here. They're going to try to neutralize our Primeape with their Dugong, their Ice-type Pokemon that's taking so much damage. In comes an Annihilate in the back. Okay, this is very awkward now. There's going to be a lot of work that our our Corsola has to do, our Diggersby is kind of just sitting in the back, wondering where it's going to go this game. There's that Dugong with a lot of energy. Annihilate here will actually outpace us to getting to 2 moves before we can get 1, even if we shield that. So I just have to let this go. I have to hope that I can knock this Pokemon out here, going for a Scorching Sands with our Diggersby. If they can go and get the Scorching Sands, or if they survive the Scorching Sands, we're in such a bad spot. Shield up a potential close combat, but no, it's a Rage Fist bait. Good bait by our opponent. I have the Scorching Sands. Is it enough to knock out Annihilate here? I just have to hope at this point that it is. No, they survive on 1 HP, and they're going to be able to get a move at the last second there, but they end up doing a combo play instead with Dugong. They have the Ice Shard and Icy Wind combo ready to go. They knock out my Diggersby, and now unfortunately I cannot knock out this Dugong before they're able to get another attack here. Our Diggersby had nowhere to go. Corsola had so much heavy lifting to do. I let it take too much damage too early on, and our opponent made some nice catches. So that's not Corsola's fault. That's my fault. I'm going to take that one. But this same, hopefully Corsola can come back from this one. Terrible lead, one of the worst leads you can see. But we have Power Gem, so if we get shields down, maybe it's not going to be as bad. I'm going to safe swap my Primeape here, and I'm going to make a very risky call. I'm going to go instantly for the close combat. This could backfire if they shield this, but they let it go. This is fantastic. This Pokemon is extremely difficult for Diggersby and Corsola to deal with here, but I'm able to shield this up now, go for the farm down, and I've neutralized one of the scariest Pokemon for my entire team to deal with. I see a Shadow Drapion come in as well, which is actually a pretty good matchup for us to see, because I can go for close combat, and if they shield this up, I can actually go for a second one here in just a second, and make sure that I get both shields, making it so our Diggersby can easily land a Scorching Sands against them. Alcatel is thrown. We have another close combat. That was actually a CMP as well. Our opponent not realizing just how quick Primeape is to getting to these close combats. They let it go. Primeape has already taken out so much of our opponent's team. Their final Pokemon, another Dark-type Triple Dark on our opponent's side. That's crazy. Our Corsola has nowhere to go, but our Primeape has been putting in so much work here. I'm hoping that Diggersby is going to be able to close this one out. We are going to go for the Scorching Sands here, try to get the shield. We wait a turn, make sure a catch does not happen with that Moltres. This Scorching Sands will almost certainly get shielded, but I don't want to risk a Fire Punch bait getting called. This is going to get a little bit dicey. We're at -1 defense after that that Psychic Fangs has lowered our defense stat. That Aura Wheel does so much damage. I'm going to have to watch for a catch this game, but they catch a little bit too soon. We're able to quick attack them all the way down. Corsola not even needed this matchup. We're going to go for the Scorching Sands against this Pokemon. We can take them out here, and now we don't even need one of our Pokemon on this team to win that matchup. Diggersby able to close it out. Next game, we're going to see Morpico, this time in the lead. Another very bad lead here for our Corsola, unfortunately, but we're going to safe swap our Diggersby. Hope for the best right now, but this is not looking great. Azumarill comes and answers us right now. Our Diggersby, though, is going to try to go for the Scorching Sands debuff. If I get one, that's really nice. It makes it so it's a lot harder for this Azumarill to finish us off, but no debuff on that first move. It means that this Ice Beam is going to do a critical amount of damage, put us into range where even if we get a debuff now, the next Ice Beam still knocks us out. Scorching Sands, once again, is going to get thrown. This is going to do a decent chunk to them, but it's not going to knock them out, obviously. I'd probably need to get to a third, and even then, I'd probably need a lot more faster pressure if I want to knock them out here. I don't want to go down shields. I know Morpico kind of sweeps me if I do that, so I'm going to let this go, try to farm down with Corsola, and if they swap out, I'm going to come in Primeape and try to finish the job. They end up hard pivoting out to their Morpico here. I'm going to shield up this move. I know it could be a Psychic Fangs. We'll see what they end up throwing. It's going to be an Aura Wheel, actually. Kind of weird that they throw that. Maybe they're running Aura Wheel and Seed Bomb rather than Psychic Fangs. If that is the case, then I should be able to fast move them all the way down before they reach another attack. We're not going to be debuffed in this matchup, and we have a lot of energy now on our Primeape. We also have our Corsola that's still alive, and their final Pokemon is going to be a Drifblim. We are already boosted with our Primeape. If they no-shield this, I can Astonish down. If they shield, I am getting close to a Nightshade on our Corsola. Make sure that I throw in the middle of that Hex so that this Rage Fist will land. We are at +2 already. This is going to do a critical amount of damage if it lands. Our opponent realizes they have to shield that move, and now I have to watch for a catch here. They threw after 5 Astonishes. That is only an Icy Wind. I am never going to shield that. We need to watch for the catch, which they attempt to go for right there, but I see it coming a mile away. We go for the fast moves, and now they top left, realizing there's not much of a win condition anymore for them. GG's to our opponent next game against a Clodsire in the lead. A very strong lead because obviously we resist these Poison Stings, but they are staying in here, which is kind of interesting. Probably going to be weak to Corsola in the back, but they throw after 7 Poison Stings. That's not 8. It's not going to be an Earthquake. It's just a Stone Edge. Kind of surprising they don't even bait the fact that they could Earthquake us there, but I guess that's kind of fine at this point. We're going to just go straight for these Nightshades. You can see it doesn't quite two-shot them, but we are able to do so much neutral damage with Astonish and with Nightshade that it is still a very strong matchup for Corsola. They're going to throw another move here. If it's an Earthquake, it'll put us pretty low, but it's another Stone Edge. I'm kind of wondering why they're Stone Edging us here. They come in with a Primeape against our Corsola. This is going to be a bit awkward saying how low we are, but we will get a shield or a lot of damage, I guess. with our Nightshade. A little surprised they just let their Primeape go like this. I'm going to shield this move up, hope for a close combat. If this is, we can farm him all the way down. If it wasn't, we'd have to throw Rage Fists to try to get shields back, but it was a close combat in the backline. What the heck, dude? So many double fighter teams. Annihilate. Annihilate is going to do so much work to our Diggersby. Our Corsola is so low. With that said, we have our Primeape here that has a lot of energy, can likely start getting shields, and we might be able to put this into Astonish downrange potentially. If we save a shield, we could potentially still win this matchup. They make a nice catch here on Clodsire, but honestly, that's probably for the best for me, right? Now I can swap into Diggersby, farm this all the way down, have energy to go against that Annihilate. If they ever want to knock out my Diggersby with their Annihilate, they're going to have to debuff themselves throwing that close combat, or else they're going to have to let me get a lot of moves off. Well, that's why they've been Stone Edging me. That was a Sludge Bomb. They're running Sludge Bomb Stone Edge on Clodsire. Very spicy moveset, but also I guess I respect it quite a bit. I'm going to no-shield this knowing that if it is a close combat, actually we even survived that move. That's kind of crazy, Diggersby. Good stuff. But even if we got knocked out there, they'd have to lower their defense stat, and I could astonish them down with our Corsola. But instead, now we go for the double Fire Punch. We take out the Annihilate with our Diggersby, and we can win the matchup going straight Fire Punch here. GG's for our opponent. Very spicy team, but very weak to our Corsola, I guess. All right, next matchup against an Azumarill in the lead. We've seen that this is a very neutral matchup, but Corsola does outpace it, and we just kind of have more efficient moves than Azumarill, so it is kind of favored for Corsola, but I think the longer this matchup goes, it is better for Corsola. The Zero Shields are actually quite close, just because these play roughs do quite a bit of damage here to me. I'm going to go for the Nightshade. This likely will not get shielded, but it's going to trip it down into a range where it's a lot easier for a backline to deal with. We have a Diggersby and a Primeape that both don't really want to deal with this Pokemon. I'm going to go for the Nightshade once again. Do they end up shielding Azumarill? I'd be kind of surprised if they do. They do let it go once again here, and now they're going to throw another charge attack. I know I survive it, but we're going to be kind of low at this point. I'm going to see what we want to do now. I'm going to try to astonish them down, but they come in with their Serperior here, and we don't really have a great answer once our Corsola is down. I come in though with our Primeape, try to go for these Rage Fists, and since they let that first one through here, it's going to put them into a range where we can trip this thing down so it's not quite as worrisome for Diggersby. I'm hoping that Diggersby has some play this game. We've seen this in Azumarill, we've seen this Serperior, and now we're hoping that the backline's going to be like a Clodsire or something like that, that we're going to have a lot more play against. A Rage Fist does come through. They actually end up no-shielding because they know they survive it. I'm going to double shield Primeape. I'm double boosted right now. There's a potential that we can still win this matchup depending on what that final Pokemon's going to be, but it is a Shadow Gallade. What is that? Okay, not a great Pokemon to see here. We're going to try our best to get shields with these Rage Fists, but I don't know if we can win this one right now. They're going to shield up that Rage Fist. They throw the move, and now our Diggersby is probably just going to get one shot by a move here. This is not looking great for us. We're going to have to try to make a catch if we want any chance to win this one. I know Astonish would do quite a bit of damage to them, but we are so low with our Corsola here. We go for the catch, but they don't fall for it, and they end up fast moving us down. Not much we can do there. GG's to our opponent. Very spicy backline. All right, next game, a Primeape in the lead this time. We know that they have Rage Fist, but we also know Corsola is a very bulky Pokemon, and what that means is we can no-shield the first one, we can probably no-shield the second one as well, and get shield advantage against this Primeape if possible. They do end up going for that first move, doesn't quite go and take half of our health away, but we're going to get quite low after the second Rage Fist comes through. It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable with how much they're ramping up here, but we do get to this Nightshade. It's going to draw the shield likely from this Primeape, and if they let it go, then I'm fine taking down a Pokemon that's at +2 attack. They do end up shielding that move, but then they simul swap here to their Shadow Feraligatr. They're going to try to fast move us down. They're trying to snipe down our Corsola. Luckily, though, because I swapped at the same time, we're going to be in a very good spot. We can overfarm to 2 moves, shield that first attack here, and now close combat will definitely knock them out if they let it go. And I would be kind of surprised to see them shield this, because the longer this goes, the better it is for my Primeape. They do let that move through. If Primeape comes back in, I can go for the close combat. I can knock them out guaranteed. If they come back in with anything else, we'll play it by ear, or I can go for the Rage Fist. This is a bit of a freaky play by me. I think going for the close combat probably is the more guaranteed matchup. Oh, I guess that just knocks out. What am I even talking about? This is easily in range where a Rage Fist knocks them out. I'm not quite as aware of my Primeape matchups as I should be, because I haven't really played this Pokemon too much yet. I've been using Annihilate a lot more, but I think I really like Primeape. It's so spammy, so offensive as well. We swap back to our Corsola to try to catch a move or snipe down that Primeape, but they end up coming with their final pick here, the Clodsire, which I think at this point we have a very easy way to win this game. They might have a lot of energy on that Primeape, but they're going to have to throw the close combat to knock out my Diggersby. They have to go for Earthquakes here as well, so as long as we force energy against our Diggersby, our own Primeape should be able to close out this game once we land a Scorching Stance against this Clodsire. This move is going to do quite a bit of damage to them. It won't quite knock them out, though, because of how bulky Clodsire is. We get the attack drop. Not that that's super impactful, because we'd survive an Earthquake either way. They end up throwing the Earthquake, and in comes Primeape trying to snipe us down here with a close combat. At this point, though, I can karate chop this down, go for a close combat of my own against that Clodsire, and take the game. Close combat does actually do a little bit more raw damage than the Rage Fist would do, despite being resisted, just because of how powerful of a move it is. We're going to throw it, knock out this Clodsire, and take the game, using our Primeape as such a powerful Pokemon this matchup. Alright, next game, we're going to see our Corsola in the lead up against another Primeape lead. This was a little awkward last time. Let's see what they're going to do. They actually instant swap this time. If you ever see an opponent who's going to instant swap to a Steel-type Pokemon in a neutral matchup, you have to know the backline is going to be another Steel-type, right? It's going to be some sort of double Steel team. So I'm going to chip it down with the Astonish and the Nightshade damage, put it into Fire Punch range, because now I know that if it's another Steel-type, our Primeape should be able to just win this game. They're also going straight Crunch here, and they're not even trying to debuff our defense with these Psychic Fangs. They're just trying to get as much raw damage as they can against us. So my game plan right now is to build up energy and make sure I have some moves to throw against that Primeape if they happen to come back in with it. These Fire Punches are easily going to knock them out at this point. And now if they come back in Primeape, I have Scorching Sands. If they come back in with anything else, we'll see what they're going to do. What is going to come in? It is going to be that Primeape. And I don't really want to stay in this matchup. I don't want to give them a farm down. That would probably be the worst case scenario. So we end up getting a shield here, swapping to our own Primeape. And now I think we're in a very good spot, depending on what that final Pokemon is going to be. We're going to show up a move, probably going to be a Rage Fist, but I'm not going to risk getting one shot right now because we're in such a good position. We can go for the close combat here. They might expect me to go for a Rage Fist. I'm just going to full send it right now. This should guarantee the knockout if it goes through, which it does. Final Pokemon, who would have thought? Another Steel type in back, that's crazy stuff. Our Primeape able to easily defeat that Pokemon. GG's to our opponent. Next game here, a very bad lead for us. The Drapion non-Shadow as well. This is going to be kind of awkward for us because they can go for the Aqua Tail when we safe swap to our Primeape. Looks like that is exactly what they're going to do. They're chipping us down quite a bit. Even though we have a little bit of energy, it could be a bit of an awkward matchup in the backline depending on what it's going to be. It's going to be a Malamar. You can see just how quickly our health is going down here. I don't know if I get to 2 moves. I could have got 2 Rage Fists, but I know a close combat as well is going to do more raw damage. If I could have got to a Rage Fist and a close combat, we would have got a shield advantage here, but unfortunately not able to do that, just barely. And honestly, Malamar is a bit of a tricky Pokemon for our whole team. I'm going to have to absorb a super effective move somewhere, so I'm just going to take the Foul Play. It does quite a bit of damage, but we still get the Astonish down. We get a little bit of energy, and we can potentially chip down this Drapion when it comes back in, throwing this Power Gem. They are going to be at a crunch right now, so I'm going to have to try to catch it on our Diggersby, but they're likely going to just not throw any energy, swap to their final Pokemon, and it's going to be another very bad matchup for us. Azumarill is not what our Diggersby wanted to see in the backline, but we're going to try our best right now to shield this up, go for debuffs, potentially debuff them enough that our Diggersby can flip this matchup and get shields down so we can knock out that Drapion later on, but this is still looking so rough right now. They just have so much energy on Drapion, they have a lot of health on this Azumarill that we're going to have to try to get through. We do get the debuff on that first move though, going to make it a lot easier to survive these Ice Beams, but I think at this point it's going to be an uphill battle. I'll probably have to try to catch a move on our Corsola if I want any chance of winning this one. We have yet another Scorching Sands that we can throw. I'm going to try to catch on this next move, do one quick attack, try to swap, and what is our opponent going to do? They're going to go and watch exactly what I'm doing. They see me a mile away. They know I'm going to try to catch a move, and unfortunately they come in Drapion instead of throwing any energy. We're going to try to shield this up to try to get a move off, but unfortunately they're at back-to-back crunches here. Surprise, surprise, Drapion is a very spammy Pokemon, and they just kind of have us this game, right? They could go for Aqua Tails if they wanted to. They have Ice Beam, they cleared their debuffs. That is not a good matchup for our team, unfortunately. Speaking of bad matchups, though, this is another bad one. Going to be the Galarian Moltres. We've played this out a couple different ways today. This time, I think I'm just going to overfarm, because if they're going to stay in this, they're going to give me so much energy that even a bad matchup in the backline is not going to be that terrible for Primeape. They go for an Ancient Power Bait, crazy stuff there, and in the backline is a Gastrodon that comes in. This is actually kind of interesting, because I'm up so much energy, I can go for this close combat, and if they no-shield it like they do there, I can now reach 2 Rage Fists before they can reach a single Body Slam. I'm either going to get both shields from them here, or I'm going to get Switch Advantage. They end up CMPing me on this next attack here. This is easily going to draw a shield from this thing. I think they want Switch this game with the way they're playing it out. They do end up shielding the move. Now we can go for the no-shield. We have shield advantage this game. Farm this down with our Corsola and land the Power Gem against that Moltres. Power Gem coverage is just so nice to see here. In comes the Moltres. It's already been chipped down here. We're going to try to land the Power Gem, but they make a nice catch on the Marowak. That's not amazing, but also, I'd rather see my Corsola against this Marowak than anything else, so despite the fact that was a nice catch, I can probably still reach a Nightshade here, knock out this Marowak with our Corsola, and potentially still be in a great spot this game. I think I survived this move. I'm going to try to survive this. I guess I do, but on 1 HP, that was a very risky play by me. I probably should have just shielded that, but this Nightshade is either going to knock them out or put them into fast move farm down range. Actually ends up knocking out the Marowak, but our Diggersby can easily absorb moves here, go for any sort of charge move to knock this out. They're going for a charge attack here. It has to be a Brave Bird to do any damage, but I know even still we survive a Brave Bird from this range. They do end up going for it. We are at back-to-back Fire Punches, but I'm going to do the crazy play. I'm going to throw the Scorching Sands because this player is staying in this matchup. I might as well go for a little bit of BM, go for the Scorching Sands. It's still going to knock out their -3, so Scorching Sands taking out a Flying type Pokemon here. GG's to our opponent, somehow overcoming the Moltres lead into our team that honestly doesn't really have a hard Moltres check. Just had to keep saying that, right? Another Moltres on our screen. Well, I'm going to try our best with Primeape to save swap, see what it can do. We end up baiting out an Azumarill. We get a decent energy lead here as well before they end up swapping this in. There's a chance I can 2-shield my way through this matchup, come out of this super boosted, and be in a good spot potentially, but we're going to have to see. I don't like going down 2 shields if I can help it, but Primeape is going to be a very shield-hungry Pokemon, and if I want to make anything happen this game, I think it's going to be with this little monkey. Another move is going to be thrown against this Azumarill. Primeape is doing so much damage after being at +2, now at +3 attack. I could Karate Chop this down in the 2-shield matchup, and that is exactly what I intend to do, depending on how they play this out. They go for a Play Rough here, which is crazy, and then something even crazier, they swap into a Shadow Feraligatr to a triple boosted Primeape. We're going to go for another Rage Fist. It's going to draw the shield. We're going to draw yet another shield. That might have been a CMP as well. This is looking even better for us than it was before. This move is going to draw yet another shield from this Shadow Gator. We know Moltres is in the back. We know they have a little bit of health on that Azumarill. So what I want to do is come in Corsola here. I'm going to take a lot of Shadow Claw damage, but I also know we're doing so much damage with these Astonishes. I survive a Hydro Cannon. We're a very bulky Pokemon. They end up going for that Hydro Cannon, and now if I can knock them out here, I'm going to be in a good spot. This time, they cannot catch. They swapped into their Moltres with this Corsola. We're going to go for the Power Gem. See how much damage it does? That is crazy. That is so much damage from a non-stab move from a very bulky Pokemon to another decently bulky Pokemon here. I dare them to go for the Brave Bird, which they actually do end up landing, but I know at this point they're not going to be able to reach all the charge moves they need to take out my Diggersby. Azumarill is close to a move, but that Feraligatr is basically energy dry at this point. We can go for this attack to guarantee Azumarill does not get off this Ice Beam here that they're very close to, and once we take out this Azumarill, this Feraligatr is going to fall shortly after. They've realized that. GG's to them. Primeape putting in so much work, Corsola as well, putting in a lot of work, even in some kind of negative matchups. But this is about as neutral of a matchup as it gets. Galarian Corsola in the mirror match here. You're going to see a lot of fast move pressure go back and forth, and it's really going to depend on who wins CMP to see who can draw shields first. Looks like we do end up winning CMP in this matchup, though, so we're going to see a shield from our opponent, but I'm going to match shields knowing that my Galarian Corsola could potentially be good in the backline. I'm expecting a potential catch from our opponent, so I'm going to swap on the next move. I'm going to try to catch on our Diggersby just in case they don't end up swapping, because I know Diggersby is going to absorb the energy so incredibly hard. This is a catch on a Nightshade. Going to do almost nothing to our bunny, and we're going to see what we're going to bait out here. It's actually going to be an Alolan Sandslash, a non-shadow as well, so we know that we survive this move pretty easily. We can get to 2 Fire Punches if they don't throw all of their energy immediately. Ice Punch comes through, doesn't even do too much damage to our Diggersby. Now go for the Fire Punch, and if they don't throw immediately here, then they're not going to be able to survive the next Fire Punch. I'm going to intentionally undercharge. I know I knocked them out with 2 moves anyway, and if they do end up knocking out my Diggersby, I want to give myself more farm on our Primeape. In comes the Ice Punch, gonna knock us out, but I can come in instantly with Primeape here, go for the farm down. We know that Corsola is so incredibly low at this point with the Astonish damage that they're basically in Rage Fist range, so our opponent is forced to come in with their final Pokemon, a Clodsire, and at this point, it's gonna be the Primeape show. We're gonna try our best to go for as many Rage Fists as we can, shield this poor monkey, try to take out the Poison-type Pokemon, and see what we can do, ramping up with these Rage Fists. Already got this Pokemon down to half health. We're at yet another Rage Fist right now. We're gonna overfarm just a little bit here, just in case they swap out at some point to that Corsola. Stone Edge is going to be thrown, so they're not running Sludge Bomb. They're going to take a little bit longer to get to charge moves, but at this point we are in Stone Edge range despite resisting that move because of how squishy this Pokemon is. In comes the Corsola here. We're going to go once again for a Rage Fist. We are already maxed out on our attack stat. Are they going to shield this up? They do end up shielding it, but I know I can outpace this Pokemon. I'm going to get another Rage Fist off here. I think I might even outpace that Clodsire to another move, knock them out with Rage Fist once again, and we even have a Nightshade on our Corsola, even if our Primeape goes down. Primeape, what the heck was that, man? A full-on sweep there? That is a crazy Pokemon if I've ever seen one. Next game, though, a crazy bad lead for us, the Dunsparce. We're going to come in with our Primeape, try to flip switch advantage if we can, but this is going to be a hard thing to flip switch against. Mandibuzz, not only Mandibuzz, but with Air Slash. This is terrible because the fast food pressure is adding up so quickly. I'm going to boost our attack with this Rage Fist and then try to back-to-back close combats. If that is enough to knock them out, I might be in a better spot this game, but we're going to see what's going to happen right now. Aerialise will draw a shield. I'm almost at back-to-back close combats. One more Karate Chop will do it. If they no-shield this, I'm going to be able to basically flip switch here, I think. They do end up letting that go, which is crazy to me. They are not trying to go for switch advantage this game. This Rage Fist will knock them out if it goes through. They let it go. Somehow, one shield able to flip that matchup. We are already boosted on our Primeape, so we're going to get our shield back here against this Quagsire. We have our Diggersby against that Dunsparce. We can use our Corsola as a way to absorb energy from this Quagsire. I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot right now. We're going to throw out Charge Moves here, but we are not a Rock-type Pokemon. We're not taking a lot of damage from these Water or Ground-type moves that this thing's throwing, and Stone Edge, despite being a very strong move, is not going to be able to two-shot us quite yet. We reach this Nightshade, it will put them into range where we can fast move them down, and now that they're this low, our Diggersby is not even that scared of this pick. Even if our Corsola somehow goes down here, I don't see any world where we're going to lose this game. They end up staying in this matchup here. They try to store some energy on that Quagsire, but then they come in with their Dunsparce. We have energy on our Corsola as well, and we are in such a good spot. We resist rollouts. Dunsparce, it is a strong neutral Pokemon, but not having a lot of fast food pressure here in this matchup, and forced to throw Drill Runs, which aren't super effective or anything against a very bulky Pokemon like Diggersby, is not a great thing for it to have to try to deal with. In comes a Scorching Sands here. Can get a debuff, but it doesn't really matter one way or another. I think at this point, we've kind of just got this game on lock. We get a shield and a debuff right there. Fantastic news for us. Unfortunately, a little bit of a frame drop there, causing us to throw on worse timing than I would have liked, or just not throw at all, wait for them to throw a Charge Move here, and a Drill Run is able to come through, but we're going to go for the Scorching Sands to see that the rollout comes through, just to make sure a catch doesn't happen on that Quagsire that's still in the back, and I am so close to the next Scorching Sands here. We're going to throw it and make sure this Dunsparce goes away. At this point, we have a shield, we have a move on our Corsola, and we have a lot of health on our Diggersby. That Quagsire is so low, we quick attack it down, and Primeape somehow putting in so much work against that Air Slash Mandibuzz, flipping that matchup and winning us that game. Next game up against an Azumarill in the lead, they instantly swap out to a Shadow Drapion. This is not a matchup I really like to be in. Our whole team has not really the best way to take this out, right? Our Diggersby is going to take a lot of damage from these Aqua Tails. Obviously, our Corsola is not in a great matchup there either, and our Primeape has to go for close combats to do any sort of substantial charge move pressure against this. So I'm going to come in Diggersby, try our best to neutralize this Pokemon, but I know if they want to take this to the 2-shield, I'm going to have to go down 2 shields myself, and I never like being in that situation where I have no shields for my Primeape, but I also kind of need switch this game, right? Primeape does not want to be aligned into that Azumarill, so I have to play their game here. I have to double shield my Diggersby, make sure I take out this Drapion, and hope that switch advantage is all I need to win this matchup. The Scorching Sands will come through here. Will it go shielded? They are playing out the 2-shield matchup, which is incredibly scary right now. I'm going to CMP them here. They're at back-to-back Aqua Tail, so if I didn't throw that right then, they actually would have won this matchup. Drapion makes this so close. This Scorching Sands will knock out this Drapion, but they get a nice farm down here with their Azumarill, and it's just going to come down to if their final Pokemon is a big core breaker for us, or if we have play with our Primeape still in the backline despite being down shields. They end up getting the full farm down. I don't even get a Scorching Sands. I only get a Fire Punch off here. And what is going to come in the backline? That is scary. That's a Morpico. Are we going to get one shot here by Aura Wheel? If we can survive this, we probably win this game. But if this knocks us out, it's just going to sweep us right now. Primeape is such a squishy Pokemon. We get one shot by Aura Wheel. They are a dark type. They're going to one-shot our Corsola. I don't want to let that happen. We're going to get out of there. GG's to them. Very smart play getting shields down like that. All right, next game up against another Azumarill in the lead. Hopefully the backline here is not quite as bad for us as that previous game. They are actually staying in, so probably a different team here. Going to be an interesting matchup to see what they want to do. This is going to do a lot of neutral damage as we've seen in previous games here. This Nightshade is going to come through, put them already below half health, and now our Corsola can take this damage, go for another Nightshade, and maybe even try to catch a move on Diggersby at some point. I know they're going to be a lot more scared of our Corsola because of the way that they're staying in this matchup, so I want to keep it around in the backline. I have a lot of energy on it. I catch the Play Rough, and now they're in range where I can knock them out with a Rage Fist or a Scorching Sands. I'm not really worried about that Pokemon too much right now. In the backline, we see a Malamar come in, which is a Pokemon our team does kind of struggle against. But right now, we have energy on Diggersby. We're outside of range where we get knocked out by a superpower, and we even get a shield there with that Scorching Sands. At this point, I'm fine letting my Diggersby go, right? Even if this is a superpower, we might survive it barely, and they're going to debuff their stats, or if it's a foul play, they're going to have to throw 2 moves now to knock us out before we reach another Scorching Sands. They end up throwing the next move, but I have energy on our Corsola. I can likely throw it and make sure I get the farm down against them with Astonish. They might get another foul play off, but even if they do, once this is out of the way, and once that Azumarill is out of the way, I'm hoping that Primeape is going to be in a good spot. They end up not reaching the move. We actually reach the Astonish, or the Nightshade rather, right before they end up getting their next attack. So not only do we take out the Malamar, we keep a little bit of health on our Corsola, their final Pokemon, though that is a terrible Pokemon to see. We have 2 shields. Shields don't matter when you're fighting a fast move pressure Pokemon like this Shadow Dragonite. We do draw that first shield with the Rage Fist. We reach the second one. I know a catch is almost certainly going to happen, which it does. I'm going to undercharge this, so I see my win condition despite the fact that they made this catch. I am going to go for the undercharge here, and I am going to intentionally let my Primeape go down. I want them right now to make my Primeape get knocked out. Farm them down with Corsola, so I have enough energy for that backline, for that Shadow Dragonite. As long as I can Astonish this down, we're going to be in a good spot. I was saying my shields were useless. No, they're still going to be useful now. They have that Dragon Claw, they have this Ice Beam. If I can Astonish them down here, which I can, we can take the game and win that match just barely against them. GG's to our opponent. Our next game, a Hypno in the lead. What is this? And then an Oranguru safe swap. So at this point, I have to imagine it's a triple psychic kind of team. I'm going to catch the Brutal Swing. This is probably a team from Retro Cup that they're just trying out in Open Great League. You might expect this to be a very good matchup for me, but if it's triple confusion, where is my Primeape going to go this game? We did catch that Brutal Swing though, so making a little bit more use out of Diggersby than it would be otherwise against a Trailblaze user. Scorching Sands is actually going to draw a shield here, which is very helpful because at this point, I don't really know what I'm going to do with our Primeape unless we can get shields down. Trailblaze does do a sizable amount of damage to us here, but I can likely reach another move here before they can farm us down. This Scorching Sands won't knock them out, but it will do enough to put them into a range where it's a little bit more manageable with our backline, and now we can come back in Corsola. We get the attack drop there with that next move, so they're at just, I guess, neutral attack. They boosted their attack once, we lowered it once, so now this Nightshade draws the second shield. Okay, this is looking better for us than it was initially right now, but they are going to do a lot of damage with fast moves if it is another Confusion user. And there it is, the Shadow Girafarig, a very scary Pokemon here, likely going to go for a Psychic Fang to lower our defense stat, and now we're going to have to shield this up, go for as much damage as I can with our Astonishes, and then go for the Power Gem here after overfarming enough to get up to a Nightshade here with our Corsola, so we can get as much damage into that Hypno as we can. What is going to come in right now, if it is the other normal and psychic type Pokemon, I'm actually going to swap out to Primeape here. That might be a crazy play to you guys, but trust me, it's the way I have to play this out. I know they only get a Brutal Swing, and I need to get an energy lead on our Primeape, and I need to be low enough as well that I don't give this Hypno enough of a farm down to get to a move against our Corsola. They get 1 Confusion. Are they going to get another one here? They do get 2, but they only get 3. They needed 4 to get to a charge move, and we have a charge move loaded on Corsola right now. This Rage Fist will put them so low. We have that move on Corsola. We can go for it. We don't quite Astonish them down, but that is totally fine. We know that we fast move down that Oranguru as long as this Hypno goes down. We take out Hypno, in comes Oranguru, we Astonish it down, and we take out the triple psychic team. GG's to them. That was a very spicy team there. Alright, that is a terrible lead, by the way. One of the worst leads, you might say, against our whole team. Mandibuzz is a big core breaker for our entire lineup, but we're going to do our play once again with our Primeape, where we're going to go and try to 2-shield it and maybe make something happen this game. They end up coming in with Clodsire, which is a decent answer to our Primeape, especially if they have Sludge Bomb, but if they're running Stone Edge, then I think in the 2-shield matchup, I can make something happen with how much of an energy lead that we have here. They end up throwing a move here eventually. It's likely going to be a Sludge Bomb, but if it's an Earthquake or a Stone Edge, we know we're in a good spot. And there it is. It's an Earthquake. We shielded it up properly. Now we have so much energy on our Primeape. I don't think a Rage Fist would quite knock out there, so rather than throwing the move, I'm going to overfarm to 100 energy to shield my Primeape, but they come back in with their Mandibuzz. If they no-shield this, they don't know how useful their Mandibuzz is right now. Are they going to? That is going to be huge for us right now. We end up landing the most impactful move against this Pokemon that we possibly could have. We land a second one potentially. We just take out Mandibuzz. One of the scariest Pokemon for our team has been neutralized, but they have 2 shields, we have 0. We are quadruple debuffed with our defense stat, with our Primeape right now. They come in with this Feraligatr. They end up trying to Shadow Claw us down. I can't let that happen right now. I'm going to come in with our Diggersby. This is a non-Shadow Feraligatr, which is actually better for them right now. They would need 2 Hydro Cannons one way or another to knock out our Diggersby, but because they are the non-Shadow, I'm doing so much less Quick Attack and Charge Move pressure with these Scorching Sands. I'm hoping for a debuff, but at this point, I don't know if I need a debuff. I think I see a way to win this game just using Corsola in the backline. I'm going to let my Diggersby go down. I don't really have a choice at this point. I'm switch locked in, but I'm going to come back in Primeape, make them drain energy there. Then if I can knock out this Feraligatr with my Corsola, I can probably sweep this game just with our Corsola after sacking this Primeape. What are they going to do here? They end up throwing a charge move here. They don't quite have an accurate count of our energy, so they only get 2 extra Shadow Claws here. They could have got 1 extra if they really wanted, but that might not matter here. Can I astonish them down? If I can, then I'm in a really good spot. It's looking like we can here before they get to 2 charge moves. They end up putting the first Hydro Cannon. It's going to do a lot of our damage, or a lot of our health rather, but in comes the Clodsire. As long as I can take this out before they reach a Stone Edge, we're going to be able to astonish down that Feraligatr. Take the win with Galarian Corsola here this game after Primeape put in so much work, flipping switch advantage and taking out that Mandibuzz. GG's to them, a very, very cool game. So yeah, Galarian Corsola, it's here. It's instant top meta. It's one of the best Pokemon that I've really ever seen just introduced into the Go Battle League. Very bulky, very strong moveset. If you can get your hands on one of these, make sure you do. It's only in 7-kilometer eggs right now. Very hard to get, and it takes XLs if you get a high rank one. But I think it's worth the grind right now. Try to get one if you can. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching today's video. I stream my battles basically every day at twitch.tv/ItsAXN, and I'm also going to upload a lot more videos to this channel, so if you want to see more content like this, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you again for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.